long day at school. Wonder what's on TV.
Up next, after our commercial break, we will be featuring an exclusive newscast with an interview with the main character of the book, Ordinary People, which includes a reenactment of a scene. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello, this is BookTube, the local and slightly mediocre news channel currently with a record-breaking number of 3 views. I'm Catalina Franco, and today we're going to dive right into the book, Ordinary People. First, let's discuss some background information about ordinary people. The book Ordinary People was first published in 1976 by Judith Guest and was her first novel. It won many awards. It was also made into a movie in the 1980s, and the film version has won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. So I hope you enjoyed our short introduction on the book, Ordinary People. And now, here is a brief synopsis, brought to you by Great Value Guacamole, helping spice up your life.
A family dealing with loss. A family of ordinary people. This family goes on a remarkable journey of healing after losing a beloved brother and son named Buck.
Once again, that was brought to you by Great Value Guacamole, keeping the party in your mouth. Okay, pardon our too eccentric reporter, Catalina Franco, and welcome. My name is Katie Swift. Now that we have reviewed the book's background, please enjoy our exclusive interview with the main character from the book, Conrad Jarrett, with our very own senior reporter, Diane Doubtfire.
Welcome, Mr. Jarrett. We appreciate you coming in to talk to us today. Let us get started. So, first question. How did your brother, Buck, die?
My brother Buck and I were both in a boating accident when we were sailing on Lake Michigan during our vacation. It had gotten stormy, but my brother didn't want to head into shore, so we didn't. It had gotten windy and our boat was tipping because the wind was blowing the sail. Buck had told me to pull down the sail, but it was jammed, and the next thing I knew, the boat had flipped over. We were using the boat as a floating device, each of us on opposite sides of the boat. He was cracking jokes about how Dad would be so mad that we had sunk the sailboat. He told me not to let go, and I didn't, but he started slipping through my grasp, and he let go and went under the water. I tried to find him. I screamed his name, but there was no answer. I knew if I left the boat, I would die, so I hung on.
Why did you stop being friends with Lazenby?
It was just too painful to be friends with him. Lazenby, Buck, and I were always hanging out together. We were best friends, and without Buck around, just seeing Lazenby was an awful reminder that my brother was gone.
Why did you quit the swim team?
I quit the swim team because I didn't want to join it in the first place. I had only joined it because my parents had wanted me to go back to my normal schedule. Being on the swim team had only reminded me of my brother's death, and I had stopped having fun.
Why did you blame yourself for your brother's death?
I felt like I could have done something more to save him. I felt like without having someone to blame his death on, then what was the point?
How did Dr. Berger change that?
When I told Dr. Berger that I had killed Buck because I did something wrong, I realized that the thing I did wrong was to hold on, to stay with the boat, and live. After realizing that, I decided to accept that it wasn't my fault that Buck died. Dr. Berger showed me that things happen, and sometimes it's not anybody's fault.
How did you feel when Karen died?
Well, it was hard to put into words. The way I remember it, at my grandparents' house, I saw a huge headline on the front page saying that 19-year-old girl from Skokie had killed herself from carbon monoxide poisoning. I read the article and saw that the name, Karen Aldrich. Immediately after, I went up to my room and had begun reliving Buck's death. Eventually, I called Dr. Berger and told him I had to meet. He told me to meet him at his office. When I got there, I realized why I'd felt so bad. I feel like everyone that I cared about died because of me, and that I had done something wrong. But Dr. Berger had shown me that it wasn't my fault. Either of them died.
In the end, why did you make up with Lazenby?
I realized that through all this, he was still my best friend, and he had lost Buck too. Even though I had continued to push him away, he was always looking out for me, and I didn't want to lose him as a friend. I had already lost Karen, Buck, my mom moved away, and I wasn't going to be seeing Dr. Berger anymore. Lazenby was my only friend left.
Don't wanna be
Why did you think your mother hated you?
I thought my mother hated me because she had always shown so much love for Buck, who was obviously her favorite son. And after he died, she just avoided me, didn't seem to care about me, and never worried about me. At first, I just thought it was because she wasn't a worrier. But I felt like she wouldn't forgive me for not saving Buck, and especially for making her life messy. My mom can't handle things messy, and when I tried to kill myself and quit the swim team, she couldn't keep pretending that everything was okay and neat.
Well, those are all the questions I have. That's a wrap. Thank you, Mr. Jarrett.
Please, call me Conrad.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Conrad.
Thank you, Diane. And now, back to you, Catalino. Hello, I'm going to be discussing the themes of ordinary people. The first thing we're going to be discussing is that some things, like death, aren't anybody's fault. Through the example of Karen's suicide and Buck's death, it is shown that some things, like death, aren't anybody's fault because nothing could have been done to prevent it. The next theme was punishment and guilt are pointless because they don't solve the problem. An example of this was when Conrad was punishing himself for Buck's death. No matter how much guilt you feel and how much punishment you put on yourself, it doesn't reverse what has been done. Basically, the theme punishment and guilt are pointless and don't solve the problem means that punishment and guilt only make you feel worse about the situation, but it doesn't solve the problem. Thank you. And those are the themes. Brought to you by Catalino Franco. And last but not least, we will end our show with the roadway survey segment, where we ask random people on the street what they learned from the book Ordinary People and how they would rate it.
I gave this book a 3 out of 5. In Ordinary People, there's no real plot. It's mainly just character growth and development. I feel like this could be half of the length. It would have been a lot better. It didn't blow me away, but it was an interesting read.
3 out of 5. Ordinary People is an easy, light read, but the story itself is just too depressing.
I rate this book a 5 out of 5. The book is incredible. It is real, honest. It takes an honest look at life and all the horrible things that happen. It also reminds you of reasons that life is still worth living in spite of those horrible things.
I rate it 5 out of 5. Okay. Ordinary People is a novel of complex simplicity and extreme beauty. The story grows on itself, never forgetting the emotions of everyday people in our everyday world.
So I would give this book a 5 out of 5, or an A, if I were to grade it. I really appreciated how Judith Guest had incorporated heavy topics such as death, loss, suicide, etc., and made a way to show that you can heal from such tragic events. From this book, I learned that there isn't always someone at fault, or some things happen and it's not someone's fault. And I also learned the importance of forgiveness, like forgiving yourself.